everybody, welcome back to Tim Travels. It's Terry, your host. Couple of things going on. Today is I have 1,596 subscribers. And 1596 was kind of an interesting year in the life of somebody who I'm a big fan of, and that's William Shakespeare. Unfortunately, in 1596, his son Hamnet, so H-A-M-N-E-T, not to be confused with Hamlet, the tragedy, but Hamnet dies at age 11, and he had a twin sister named Judith. And this is at a period of time when the Black Death was pretty common, and there would be periodic outbreaks. Kind of like COVID, where it would wane for a while and then all of a sudden there'd be like a huge outbreak. But anyway, Hamnet dies. I'm not really sure why, but back then, so he was 11 years old when he passed away, but back then, about a third of children in England never made it past their 10th birthday. So a lot of people had one or more children die at a young age. So it was very sad. But the weird thing about Hamnet's death is that scholars have spent millions of pages trying to figure out how that impacted how it impacted William Shakespeare in his writing. But during this time, he wrote a lot of comedies and stuff. Although in 1596 he did release Henry IV Part 2. Not to be confused with Henry V, which was released in 1599. Henry V, if you recall, is the one where there was a movie. Kenneth Branagh played Henry V, and Henry V goes over to the continent to fight the Battle of Agincourt, and that's where he gives that speech about my brethren on St. Crispin's Day, and it's pretty famous. But that's Henry V. So anyway, that's what was happening in 1596, among other things. Rene Descartes was born in 1596. He was a French philosopher and mathematician. Trying to think. Well, that's it for that right now. So I picked up a load yesterday in New England, and I drove across what I call the northern tier, north of the Adirondacks, actually crossed Lake Champlain last night, and it was kind of cool because I drove parallel to it for a while, near, I think it's Rouse's Point, New York, and the moon was out and it was shining on the lake, so it's kind of cool. You get to see a lot of cool things when you're driving in the middle of the night. Very little traffic. Go through a lot of small towns and stuff, but very little traffic. Saved on, instead of going down to Albany and paying the tolls on 87 and 90, I went all the way over to Watertown and took 81 down. But it was a nice drive, even though it was the middle of the night. And the other thing that I wanted to mention is today there was a tentative agreement reached to avert a rail strike. I think for the U.S. economy that's good news, and I think it does show that unions have some power, and I think that their power is increasing. If you've noticed lately, there are businesses. It's kind of funny. I was reading about a business that shut down. In fact, this business, and I can't remember, they make it's like a donut shop or something, and it was pretty well known, and they were getting ready to open a second location, and when their workers asked to kind of have a little I don't even know that it was collective bargaining, but they wanted to have a workers group to talk to management. they just shut the business down. Management shut the business down. They're like, we're a small business, we can't have a union. And I just thought, man, that is just really, really short-sighted. Like, they didn't even like want to talk to anybody and figure it out. And I mean, let's be candid. There are tons and tons of really successful businesses, and have been throughout the history of the United States, that had unions. You know, having a union doesn't mean you're not going to be a successful business, even a small business. So anyway, I thought that was really short-sighted. You know, it just kind of tells me that the business owners didn't have their employees' welfare in mind at all. So yeah, railroad strike averted. Everybody can go back to riding Amtrak. And I guess it helps that we have a president who really likes trains. So, because I guess Biden got personally involved in this. It still remains to be seen if the unions actually accept the deal. There have been a few strikes over the past couple of years where unions basically were like, no. John Deere had a strike where a union was basically like, nope. Kellogg's had a strike last year where the union, was like, they actually voted against the contract twice and then ratified it the third time. So we'll see what happens. So let's talk about Trucker Appreciation Week. Now, if you work for Prime, or maybe it's just because I'm special, you might have gotten 7,000 points, Prime points. And for those of you who don't work for Prime or just don't know how it works, you get Prime points, you know, when you do certain things. Probably the main way you get Prime points is by fueling. Like, so if you're the holder of the fuel card, if you fuel at a Prime facility, you get Prime points. So it's not unlike, you know, Love's. You get points when you fuel, or, you know, TA, Pilot, all those. You get points, right? So Prime has the same thing. The other way you get, that I at least have gotten Prime points in the past, is when I do a survey. Like if they ask about a quality of life survey kind of thing, they'll usually give you 500 points for doing the survey. And what can you use the points on? Well, I talked about it last year. I got a Carhartt jacket that would retail for like $102. I got it for $12 because of my Prime points. And then also because Prime kind of subsidizes stuff in the stores. So you can buy anything in the stores. You can buy food at any of the terminals, food and other sundries. So you could just go in there and buy, you know, like a case of soda. It doesn't have to be a prepared meal. They also, I don't know if this is the case, but I'm guessing that you can also use it at the salons for like products, and maybe even services like haircuts, you know, massages, whatever they do at the salons. I don't know if they do. I don't think they do manicures. Because I usually get my manicures when I'm home, but yeah, we'll check. Anyway, if anybody knows the answer to that, just put it in the comments. I'm pretty sure though that at the salons you can use your Prime points. I think you might. Don't quote me on this, and if anybody knows, put it in the comments. You might be able to use your Prime points at the Prime facilities, like in Springfield, like the college, the Campus Inn or whatever. I don't know if that's true. I know you can charge those rooms to your truck, but well, maybe I'm wrong about all that. I've never stayed there. I don't know. But so the 7,000 Prime points are worth $70. It's a nice touch, okay? And you know, and I mentioned this last year. Prime gave out $70 cash. It was in my settlement at Christmas time. Again, it's not a ton of money, but it's a nice gesture. And, you know, you do the math, right? Prime's got around 8,000 drivers. So it's you know, it's a little bit of cash. And it's, you know, so, and especially, you know, the $70 in Prime points, especially given the fact that stuff in the stores and the food is subsidized. And I say subsidized. It probably is more accurate to say that they just don't take as big of a profit margin as they would somewhere else. Because like I said, the jacket I bought that retails for like $102, I think Prime was selling it in the store for maybe like 72 to 78 bucks. So even if you're just paying out of pocket, it's still you can still get some good deals. And if you ever checked out Mo's channel, and congrats to him, he hit 1,000 subscribers. But he did a video about one of those nice mattresses he purchased at the Prime store, and he said he got it for $500. And I know somebody else commented on his page that they paid like over $600 somewhere else for the same product, the same truck mattress. So again, good, decent value. So other than the Prime points, I've seen basically nothing, no appreciation at all, except for I needed to get over because there was a state trooper, had somebody pulled over on the New York State Thruway today. And this nice person saw that I wanted to get over, and they didn't speed up to try to get by me. They let me over, so they contributed to my drive, my feeling appreciated. But, excuse me. But, you know, I went to, I stopped on the Thruway, and I went to a Tim Hortons. Now, if you don't know what Tim Hortons is, it's not just any donut shop, okay? It's the best donut shop ever if you're a hockey fan. Anybody that's around hockey fan or anything, knows about Tim Hortons. And I think the reason is Tim Horton was a Canadian hockey player, and the chain started up there, but there's plenty of franchises in the States now. Anyway, so I go to Tim Hortons, and Tim Hortons, you know, they have these things called Timbits. And, you know, this is called Tim Travels, right? So they have Timbits at Tim Hortons. Now, Timbits are donut holes. But they're not just any donut holes, because they're Timbits, right? They're the best donut holes. And by the way, they have a birthday cake Timbit that really does taste like birthday cake, I gotta say. Anyway, so I go up there, and I said, hey, I'm a truck driver. I know it's Trucker Appreciation Week, and so I'm here to get my free Timbits. You know, for Trucker Appreciation Week, I can show you my CDL or whatever. And this girl looks me straight in my face, and she's like, we're not doing any Trucker Appreciation, giving away Timbits or anything. And I'm like, what? And I was just like, it's Trucker Appreciation Week. And, you know, I kind of got loud. I'm like, the fuck? And so I turn around and I look at the people behind me, and they're just staring at me like they don't appreciate truckers. So I end up leaving that rest area that I wouldn't have stopped at otherwise, except to get my complimentary Timbits for Trucker Appreciation Week. I don't know what the hell is going on, but it just really makes me angry. It makes me angry enough to go to a Dunkin' Donuts. But you know what I noticed last night driving across the Northern Tier? I must have passed at least a dozen Dunkin' Donuts. You think any of them were open? No. Yeah, we appreciate you as long as you come when we want you there. I actually was at a truck stop to fuel my reefer, and I legit asked this gal, I'm like, so the Dunkin' Donuts was closed inside the truck stop, and I was like, do you guys have any like fresh coffee? They had no coffee. Oh, we appreciate. They had no freaking coffee available at a truck stop. You know, let's be candid. Nobody gives a F about truck drivers. Like, I don't think most trucking companies give a F about truck. It's a sop, you know. It's Trucker Appreciation Week is a fucking joke, okay? You know, and I don't want to spoil everybody's appreciation, but it's a joke, okay? Let's be candid. Like, I went to a shipper recently, and by the way, Trucker Appreciation Week started on the 11th, which was Sunday, September 11th, right? You'd think something, a day that solemn, if they started Trucker Appreciation Week, people would step up. No. So this shipper was like, hey, they have a sign, right? They have this big-ass sign that they paid too much to have made that says, you know, we appreciate you guys. Happy Trucker Appreciation Week, September 11th to the 18th. But guess what? Then there was another sign. You know what it said? It basically said, but if you come to our facility Monday through Friday, so they're leaving off Sunday and Saturday. If you come Monday through Friday during normal working hours, like 8 to 4, you can get some snacks. I'm like, that's all you got? That's how much you appreciate truckers? The fuck out of here, man. I don't care. You know, I'm just done with this appreciation crap. This is almost as bad as Veterans Day. So anyway, I appreciate you truckers, and I appreciate you out here driving, keeping America rolling. I also appreciate the railroad workers. I don't know if they have a railroad worker appreciation week. Although those guys are all, those folks, I shouldn't say guys, there's women too, getting a big pay raise. So I guess Trucker Appreciation Week turned out pretty good for them. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Oh, by the way, if there is actually something cool other than, you know, I mentioned Primes giving us the points. If there is something cool, I would like to hear about it and at least recognize people that are nice. Anyway, talk to you soon. Bye.